Hey, Dustin Tibbetts with Passport to Wall Street, and today we're going to elaborate on the trend is your friend sort of mentality. Now, you've maybe heard that phrase before. They say the trend is your friend, follow the trend, and that's your sort of path to profitability. And that's great, but if that were the only thing, then wouldn't we all be rich already? I mean, we would all just follow the trend. So, what we want to say today is the trend is your friend, but control is your best friend. Meaning, if you can identify who has control during an uptrend and who has control during a downtrend, then wouldn't you be a little bit better off as far as your entry prices, whether you're a short-term trader, a day trader, or even an investor? If you could if you could actually find those areas of changing of control, couldn't you pick a better entry in an uptrend versus just randomly buying an uptrend? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We'll look over a few things, but we'll start here by going over to some charts. So on the charts here, we've got the S&P 500. And I'm going to just step aside. Yeah, there we go. So here is a clear uptrend, right? The markets, the S&P 500, been in a clear uptrend here over the past few months. Had its series of ups and downs, but of course we could say that overall the trend was higher. Now, if the trend is your friend, then simply buying the stock market at any old point here should do the trick. But if we can identify where control changes inside of a trend, then we should be much better off. And this is what I'm talking about. When we look at candlesticks, we look at them in terms of telling us who has control, the buyers or the sellers. And so, for example, yesterday, if you look at this green candlestick here, you could say, oh, the buyers had control. Today, the sellers were basically in control. Now, overall, what we want to do is find where the sellers lose control and the buyers take control in an uptrend, right? If we can spot those opportunities, then wouldn't we have very good buying opportunities? And so if we look down here at all this support, all these areas here, we could see that the sellers had control right here, but control changed to the buyers right in the middle of the day, and the candlestick ended up green. At the very least, if you missed that, the next day you could certainly say, hey, look, the buyers have control right here. Now, over the past few days, the sellers have been pushing this thing lower. I've noticed a change in control. The trend is still higher, so the position would only be to identify a long opportunity, but we want to do it when we can see that the sellers have lost a brief battle, and that's probably the best way to word it. Here's a day right here in the S&P. The sellers just dominated the day, but they lost that battle moments later, or in this case, the very next day. And so the buyers regain control. Look what happens. If we go back over here, the sellers were in control, but they lost that battle and the buyers regained control. Look what happens, right? And so as you go along, I'm going to zoom out there. As you go along anywhere in the stock market, now this has been extra sort of action, but you can go along anywhere in an uptrend and say, hey, right here, let's go over here. There we go. Right here, the buyers regain control. Right here, the buyers regain control. Over here, the buyers regain control. And so when you spot those opportunities, it gives you the chance to hop on that trend, which is supposed to be your friend. Even in an instance like this, where the sellers dominated this day right here, but then the buyers took control, it didn't really amount to much over the next few days, but it did pay off for you with a little patience, because why? The trend is your friend, right? And so by having these opportunities to spot change in control in the trend, which is supposed to be your friend, then wouldn't you find that you're going to have a better entry price? And that's what we're all really searching for, is the best possible entry price in the middle of a trend. So I hope that helps. Just a quick example of how that works, the change in control and participating in the trend. No counter trend stuff today. By the way, you could do the same thing on the downside, where you look where sellers regain control from the buyers in the middle of a downtrend. If you can spot that, then you would know where a good short opportunity might take place. Hey, hope you enjoy. I hope it makes you some money, and we'll talk to you soon.